Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today it's going to be a mid-rank madness game between GhostPants and Firebird here on World of Sleepers, the latter edition. Top right-hand corner, it is the red Terran player GhostPants. And in the bottom left, it is the blue Zerg player Firebird. Alright, good stuff between these two players. These names are familiar. I think they were both featured in the Cheese compilation from 2 days ago. If you haven't watched it, it's an excellent one. I think there were 15 or 16 cheeses in there, which I think is the most cheese I've ever cast in a single compilation, so... Alright. TVZ. And this is a proxy. Yep, here we go. Proxy barracks. Here from GhostPants. Dun 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 dun. No gas. So, I think it's going to be Marines at this point. Well, kind of feel like if it was Marines, you would have sent out 2 SCBs and began building 2 bunkers, but... Anyway, this is Mid-Rank Madness. My every other week, semi-weekly, I don't know... Semi-weekly can either mean every other week or maybe twice a week? I think semi-weekly just means every other week, okay? Anyway, examination of Diamond and Platinum level games sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of Mid-Rank Madness. Send them all to my screener, Don. He goes ahead and picks the best one or ones, gets them back to me, and we have a good time with it. All right, so Overlord scouting here from Firebird. He is not going forward. The drone scout play bunkers are on the way here. And the drones are getting pulled, man. How did he see this? Oh, Overlord found it. That is not the best place of all time to toss down a barracks, man. Overlords... I mean, there are better places. Here would have been better. Anyway, this Marine is getting surrounded and murdered by drones. As we established during the Cheese compilation, which actually these guys attack with these little claws here. They're going to attack anything. Ooh, there's a Marine. Get him. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's too hard to tell when they're just doing little snips. It's easier when they're going after buildings. But, yeah, where'd that other SCV go? I guess he just built a barracks at home. Oh, that's so sad. Alright, so GhostPants gets absolutely shut down here. Oh, here's the other SCV hiding down in the bottom right. Now, Firebird I don't think is going to do anything with these links, but he really should counterattack. If he has speed on the way, which he does not, unfortunately, then he would be able to shut this down for quite a while. But instead, he's got a bunch of slow lings, which aren't going to help him all that much here. He might have overmade lings a little bit, but in a situation where you're panicking, it is actually... better to make too many lings than too few lings, I gotta say, especially at this level. You're not going to necessarily be punished for it by your opponent. But apparently Firebird is playing random, because he said I'm Zerg to his opponent here, GhostPants. But GhostPants tries to get away with a little bit of cheesy play there. Doesn't really work out for him because the barracks does get scouted. Slow lings showing up, and there's only a couple Marines here, and I think that might be a canceled natural. I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out how GhostPants saves it. Got some Hellions on the way, but that's a lot of lings, and that HP is going down fast. GhostPants is actually building another command center here, too. Jeez, how greedy is that? He does force a cancel on the natural, which is a huge win for Firebird. You can force a cancel, you're going to have a good time. And it just goes back to the principle, if you stop cheese, if you stop cheese and don't take a whole ton of damage, or even if you do, go for the counterattack. You made units to defend anyway. If you have units left over after that, move them across the map and see what you can get done. And in this case, bam, cancel the natural base. GhostPants is a 1-basing Terran, which he's very sad about. And now he does have some Hellions, which means the Slowlings are all dead. Because speed is nowhere near complete at this point, and Hellions are so much faster than Lings that do bonus damage versus light, which Lings are, etc., etc. It's incredibly tragic for these Lings, and they are not making it home in the least bit. Especially with the Marine DPS. Okay, so they all died. They completed their mission, but they're all dead now. I mean, they couldn't have made it home because speed was so late here for Firebird. He didn't really have the gas forward either. I think he delayed gas in order to get up the Lings in time to shut down this bunker rush. But as a result, again, speed's like halfway done at this point, so he doesn't have speedlings to help with this at all. He can make some slow lings. He's got some queens. He's walling off. He's not taking a third base, even though he really wants to at this stage. Overlord! It's not even high ground, I don't think. Is that high ground? Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe you can get there, but it didn't really happen. Creep tumors. Cancels the one. The other one is going to pop, and that's really important that it finishes. Creep spread in a defensive position is so incredibly important here. These Lings really wish they had speed. But the Queens are enough to shove this away for the most part. Queens can do pretty well against unupgraded Marines without medevacts. Also really good against Hellions, as far as they don't take much damage from them, and they hit them somewhat hard, as hard as anything on the ground. You know what I mean? Firebird goes for the lair. The really fast lair here. He is not injecting because his Queens are all busy keeping him alive. A third base is coming up now at the 5-minute mark. GhostPants Natural is done because of the command center he was building inside of his main, and he's got another command center here too. So GhostPants is actually doing okay, I gotta say. He's only at 23 workers. He could do better on his SCV production, but I think that's all right. That's an engineering bay coming up. Thought for a second it might be a fusion core, which would be, man, the 5.5-minute follow-up with a battle cruiser would actually just win here. There are not enough Queens. You need 5 Queens to handle a battle cruiser, and there's only 3. And I could just, you guys, it is so hard. I don't know, man. It's so hard to remember. I played a game where I was like, all right, I scouted a little bit, figured out what the Terran was doing, yada, yada, yada. And then 2 battle cruisers showed up and I was dead. Just like, well, crud. I was going roaches to deal with what I thought was a Hellbat attack. How about Liberator attack? I had some Queens, but not the 10 Queens required to take down 2 battle cruisers, and I just straight up died to it. It's rough, man. It is rough stuff. It's really strong. If you see it in the pro levels, it's strong. Let's just say that. If the strategy exists at the highest levels of StarCraft, it's a good one. So try to copy stuff that the pros do. It's my recommendation. Overseer does get the scout off. He doesn't see a fusion core, which is good scouting for him, which means the Roach Warren is going to be pretty useful in that situation. Creep spread looking pretty good considering how this game started. He didn't really have a chance to get it going. He's also been droning up pretty fantastically. He's at 45 workers now and saturating up his third base to some extent as well with 7 drones there. Banelings, you do want Banelings to defend against whatever the heck the Terran player is doing, unless of course it's a 2 battlecruiser rush, but the Overseer came in and saw that was not an option. Not even close. I kind of feel like GhostPants should just throw down a third base. I really don't think Firebird's in a position to threaten him in any way. Got a handful of Lings and Banes, but this is a pretty good army, especially with the tank if it's in siege mode. Protecting that third base, I think he can get it done, especially with his high ground here, man. Wall it up with supply depots, put a tank behind it, and call it good. Liberator trying to sneak on in. Spore Crawler being built, not ready to go at this point. Queen staying outside of the circle of doom, does manage to sneak on by. Liberator gets a couple kills, decides it wants to stay alive, and she decides to move on out of there, and she does. Glio Reconstitution on the way from Firebird. Roach is going to do pretty good here against a small number of tanks. We've got Hellions, we've got Marines, we've got Widow Mines in the mix here too, but Firebird really just droning up. He wants to make up for the fact that his economy was horrible at the start of this game because he was responding to that cheese. And he's doing pretty good with it too. I like that he's getting +2 melee attack. I like that he's getting an infestation pit here at 7 minutes. His tech is looking absolutely fantastic, and Firebird playing pretty well. Now GhostPants, on the other hand, is getting a bunch of buildings up. He is pretty good on army supply, but I feel like he's going to start falling behind here as soon as Firebird actually starts making stuff, because it is 38 to 58 workers in favor of the Zerg player. He's on 3 bases, soon to be, I'm going to guess this is a 4th, based on this creep spread pattern. I love the creep spread. It's looking really good. Also, it helps there aren't a lot of ramps to go up. Trying to creep that up ramps is always annoying. You have to bring a queen over to give you a vision, so it actually can go up the ramp as far as you want it to go. Vision is important stuff. Is that an armory? I just feel like this is kind of a, well, is it kind of mech? I don't know. It's 2 factories, 3, 4, and 5 barracks. Okay, so definitely not. Armory just going to be likely for tank upgrades. In addition to the bio, third base is done for GhostPants. Firebird really could use a 4th. Okay, so make these 18 safety roaches. Okay, those are attacking roaches. Those aren't safety roaches. Safety roaches is like 10 roaches that you make. Okay, there's a 4th base because you're worried an attack might come and you don't want to have nothing. But if you make 18 roaches, you're planning on being aggressive and assertive with them on some level. Now, Ling is scouting about, trying to see that third base does have a tank supporting it and a couple Marines, but that's not enough to handle 17 roaches at all, especially if you make some of them into Ravagers, which the Liberators would be a problem for roaches, not as much for Ravagers. So I'm liking this. Creep spread, again, super impressive out of Firebird. Banelings thought about they were going to go in there, but then there was tank, and the Banelings were like, let's not. Drilling Claws coming in too. Out of GhostPants, and that is a fusion core, most likely for advanced ballistics at this point, but this is mid-rank madness, not mid-rank predictableness. There it is. Advanced ballistics. I was going to say, you could probably start making battle cruisers at the 9-minute mark and call it good. You're making a lot of gas right now. You have so many gas geysers taken with your refineries. Could afford to do so, but he'd have to cut some tanks and upgrades and things to do it. It's 400, 300 for a battle cruiser. It's a lot of investment for one of those guys, but can really make a difference if your opponent has, for example, mostly roaches. Now trying to sneak on in, but there is a missile turret for detection, and suddenly everything on the ground is going to die here for GhostPants. That's what. Some Widow Mines coming in. Liberator setting up Defender Circles of Doom, but Firebird has speed on these roaches, just gets out of the Circles of Doom and burrows them so they can regen their health more quickly, and then decides to get them on out. We don't see burrow move enough, honestly, in StarCraft. I wish it was more of a thing, because again, the health regen alone is amazing. It's really good. A lot of these roaches are almost dead, and now they're all pretty much healthy. That orange health looks good on them. So 4th base done, getting saturated pretty nicely here. Firebird at 10 minutes is at 68 workers, 92 army supply, and he is supply blocked. Unfortunately, he could probably make some overlords, but he's making 19 creep tumors at a time. 19 at a time. His creep spread has been pretty good. I don't have many complaints about it, other than, I mean, you really want to be like TLO, man, or like Stefano, or some of the Scarlet, some of these Zergs that really love their creep spread. And at this point, I mean, you're creeping up on that natural base on World of Sleepers, which is the big map, so I'm going to call it mission accomplished at this point. Link's trying to see, is there a 4th base? There is not. All right, interesting. 3 basing Terran. And here comes the drop on out. I thought, is there some vision here? What is that red thing? Oh, right. The red thing is GhostPants. Wasn't there a blue thing? All right, so he's going to get vision on this with the Overlord. Just barely, though, right? It flies on in for a couple seconds, then flies on out. And it wouldn't be too embarrassing for the Firebird not to see this. I mean, that was not a lot of time to be visible in the minimap, and I think outside of the pro level, that is something that could easily be missed by a lot of players. All right, so it's going to get in. Excuse me. There are Corruptors on the way, and there are Infestors. It's going to get in here and do some stuff if it lands like here, not on top of the Spore Crawler or anything. But that's a lot of roaches, man. Roaches kind of start to lose their effectiveness around the 12-minute mark of the match. He's just trying to keep the Terran on 3 bases while he's on 4. And then maybe on 5, to be honest with you. This drop needs to go. GhostPants, you need to learn something from watching players like Maru and TY and Special and stuff, is if their medevacs are out here and they're full of stuff, they're going in. Especially if they're not detected, right? If the Zerg player knows that they're there, fine. Sit out here and wait for them to forget. But on your first initial drop, you just need to go. And if the Zerg player is ready for it, so be it. But the longer you wait, the more the Zerg player is going to be ready for it. Is he playing it safe? Boy, he's flying right over the creep. Is this army going to respond to it? Yeah, the Corruptors are going to respond to it. GhostPants, what are you doing? GhostPants wants to lose this medevac. Firebird doesn't want to take it from him, though. Hang on, maybe he does. Maybe he does. Marine Marauder, Widowmine, Tank, Liberator, Viking. Good stuff. Medevac down. Full medevac down. Okay, that hurts. That really hurts. I'm a Zerg main, and that hurts to see. Resources lost definitely favoring the Zerg player at this stage. This is really bad for GhostPants. Moving out. There's not enough Banelings to deal with this, I don't think. Great positioning. All the Banelings get largely canceled. Widowmines firing off on these medevac, or on these Corruptors, rather. Firebird doesn't like what he sees, and he pulls back. Greater Spire on the way, trying to set up for a 4th base is GhostPants here at the 13-minute mark. Again, the timings are late. You really, at this point in the game, Firebird, you really want to be expanding every couple minutes. I'm not even kidding. Like every 2 to 3 minutes, just expand, take another base, especially if you're not really being attacked. 8 Broodlords are on the way, going for Neural Parasite, which seems a little ambitious, but we'll see if Neural Parasite is used to great effect here or not. And honestly, against this, all you really need is Slingbane. Slingbane Corruptor will do it. Like, especially if the Terran player is marching on the creep here, there's not a lot of tanks. Slingbane Corruptor will do just fine. Even if you don't even really need Blinding Cloud. So, base up here taken. So, GhostPants does have a 4th, which is nice. Zerg player is unaware that it exists. Army supply is 128 to 129. Pretty darn even here at the 14-minute mark of the match. Both players could really be maxed out. Oh, trying to move on in with these roaches. They don't really, I mean, they have 1-1, but again, the +2, why are they not unburrowing? A little bit late on the unburrow, and they don't actually end up getting the tank there, unfortunately. Huh. This tank's been pretty good. Tank has 5 kills. Pretty pleased with his career thus far. I mean, he could be dead, and he's not, so that's something to be pleased about. The creep spread has halted a little bit, I want to say. I haven't seen much creep spread over the last couple minutes here. I understand Firebird's attention has been elsewhere. He has expanded to the southern section here to a 5th, which I'm pretty happy about. Again, expand like 4 more times. You have so many minerals. You need gas. The way you get more gas is through expanding. Banelings crushing on through. Fungals on top of this army. Broodlords firing on from above here. Is there enough to deal with the Liberators? There are some Corruptors here, but they're so injured. I don't know that it really matters. Broodlords are crushing through the ground army right now. Corruptors are trying to come in and handle this number of Liberators and Vikings. All right, so the Broodlords are pretty happy to get rid of all of these tanks for you. Thank you for coming, Terran army. Ground army is toast. Unfortunately, it is a Liberator versus Broodlord army at the moment, which is really bad news bears for these Broodlords. There's only Infestors, which don't have enough energy for Fungal, I don't think. Dude, some Infested Terrans would be pretty good. Oh, he did toss them down, but in the Circle of Doom! And they're not even attacking. They're being brought back with the rest of the Zerg army. Guess that one's firing, getting some shots off. Almost took down a Liberator. That's pretty good stuff there. Once again, are they being told? I guess he's adding them to his control groups as he's tossing them down, and then they're moving backwards, which is bad. They always need to be moving forward here. Lings and Banelings. And Infested Terrans doing pretty well, even with the nerf. Or the bug fix, right? To where they actually do take armor into account. Plus, they did have their attack speed decreased. And intervals between attacks increased, which is always a little bit confusing, but I think we're okay. 30 Lings on the way. 5 more Corruptors coming in here from Firebird. I think this is good to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, like, mass Ling Bane here would do pretty awesome. The Liberators pretty much suck at killing Zerglings before everything else dies. I guess that is a planetary fortress, though. You'd have to bring enough Banes and Lings to make sure that it took it down. And additional upgrades for the ground units wouldn't be amiss either, although the only upgrade coming in is Grooved Spines. He wants to get some Hydras versus these Liberators, which, not a bad idea. I don't think he's actually made any Hydralisks, mind you, but he's thinking about it because, again, he's got the upgrade for the Hydras. GhostPants on the other side. I'm not sure that I like what you're doing, man. Army supply, I mean, it's okay. 134 actually to 98 is pretty impressive. The upgrades here are 3-3, which is amazing. Good for him. I'm not sure why these Overlords are out here for Firebird, but he is supply blocked. Not super immensely, but being supply blocked at this stage of the game totally sucks. He is not making more Overlords immediately to replace those. There we go. Making them 5 at a time here. Tons of minerals, as I keep pointing out. He has expanded again, which I'm okay about. GhostPants is moving around here. Again, I just see all this bio, and I think Banelings. He is making 8 of them, in addition to the hajillion that he already has. 32, man. 32 total. Do you just go? Infested Terrans tossed down. Pretty good splits here. Again, kiting back works a lot better if you happen to be off creep. And look at these Marines standing in against these roaches. Corruptors trying to get rid of these Liberators. Not really target firing them. You target fire the ones that are already red. You'd wipe them out. Another one down, and getting rid of this one would be possible, but no. Southern base does get wiped out. Bam. No cancel on it either from Firebird. Suddenly, it is a 92 to 57 army supply in favor of GhostPants. He's looking really strong. He's setting up to threaten 2 bases at the same time. Firebird is double expanding twice along the left side. He's going to need them because I don't know how he saves these bases. He's got a bunch of Lings. He's making Hydralisks. But all these drones are in trouble. Worker count for Firebird is plummeting at the moment. He's down to 52 workers. Remember, he was at like 70 or 80 just a couple of minutes ago. This hatch does go down. The ground army for GhostPants is not huge, but he is making 6 Marines and 2 Marauders at a time. Are these units being brought to the front? They are, but they also are traversing creep because he took a roundabout way here, and he didn't actually clear out the creep on the closest direction. There he goes. Starting to clear some creep tumors. 2 hatches down. 3 hatches killed so far. Also, there are no medevacs from GhostPants, which I'm kind of weirded out about. He's not making medevacs at all. I think he'd be in a better position to win this game if he had medevacs. Just going to point that out. 3-3 Marines that are being healed by medevacs are little tiny gods of death. But instead, he just keeps making Liberators and Vikings, which, okay. So the good news for Firebird is he did expand a couple times along the left side, almost as though he knew he wasn't going to be able to win this army, or this engagement down the right side. Actually making Hydralisks now is GhostPants, or Firebird rather. Be funny if GhostPants could make Hydralisks. Also expanding behind it. GhostPants, pretty good stuff, man. Turning that to a planetary fortress, as you want to do with anything past your 3rd. It's really important these bases stay alive. Your natural, not so much. It's starting to get mined out. Your 3rd base, less important. But your 4th and your 5th bases, if they're not planetaries, you're going to have a bad time. Link counterattack here. from Firebird. And he's trying to get in and take out some of these SCVs and these mules, and does manage to get a couple of them, which is nice. And the fact that he's attacking the natural base, the army comes in to deal with it, completely ignoring the Lings at the fifth base, rather. And they get out of there as the planetary fortress finishes up. Several of them die anyway, but keeping the pressure on the Terran is not a bad idea. I like it. So Firebird, his expansion patterns have been altered by the Terran. He wanted to expand down the bottom way. He's going to take the top left side instead, which can't necessarily argue with him. So Lingbane Hydra against this. That's a lot of Liberators, man. Parasitic Bomb would be really good. I mean, Firebird seems willing to use Infestors, so I think Viper should be on the table as well. Pretty much the same thing here. Is he coming in against these Liberators? He is! Alright, a lot of Liberators down. The Banelings are kind of stuck. Nice flank attack of Banes, though. Causing some problems. Trying to focus. That Liberator count goes to absolutely 0 here. The Hydra's doing terrible damage. These are 3-3 Hydralisks, ladies and gentlemen. Nice target fire on the Baneling. Marauders in front helping with that. I think Firebird kind of wins if he just pushes right now, but he's not pushing. He decides to stay on the creep. He takes the... Oh, Widow Mine. God, takes the careful route here. Nothing in the production tab for him. He's at 131 supply. If he could push on this, he could get it. That's enough 3-3 Hydras to take these guys down. They don't have a lot of tank support. There's one tank supporting it. There's no medevacs at all. He is making some Overseers. Does he have Overseer speed? I don't think he does. These are not super zippy guys. Oh, he does. Never mind, we're good. They're just moving a short distance, is what they were. GhostPants, no, he doesn't know about this base. Wow. Or this one. GhostPants' scouting needs to be improved. So you have these things called orbital commands that can toss down mules, or they can orbital scanner sweep to see things around on the map. There you go.
They're trampling all over your beautiful garden. Whoa, those drones had families.
Ooh, that's good. Oh, that's good stuff. All right. GhostPants has been allowed to take a few bases here. Firebird hasn't really been able to push the advantage. He won that last engagement really convincingly, like extremely convincingly. Good abducts here. Hey, there are Vipers in the play, but once again, the Banelings kind of harmlessly exploding away from this bio. Never mind, they're getting second connections on in. And like I said, these Hydras are trading extremely well against this low tank count, though no medevac support whatsoever for the Terran player. The fact that the tanks only have +1 attack is really helping the Zerg player right now. Oh. I was afraid my cat was lost, but she just walked past my office door, so I'm glad she's okay. If you didn't know, we got a cat named Cinnamon, and when I came home today, I couldn't find her anywhere, and the kids let her outside, and I got home after they were asleep, and I was kind of worried about her, so I'm glad she's okay. Alright, so GhostPants pushing into the creep, once again into the breach. These Lings don't stand a chance against this, but the Hydras, man, no medevacs for the Terran player. Oh man, keep pushing. Firebird, you are stronger than you know, especially against a Terran player who has no medevac support. Just kidding, he has some medevacs now. That's good. He's got 2 and he's making another one, which seems pretty ambitious. Just kidding, it's fine. It's totally fine. No, it's fine. Been watching some videos from a YouTuber named The Critical Drinker, and he just basically comments on pop culture stuff, media for the most part, and just has slurred speech like he's been drinking. I don't know if he's really been drinking or not, but it's pretty fun stuff. Some of it a little bit whiny. Some of it's a little bit complaining about some things I don't necessarily care about, so I don't really recommend him for everyone, but he's entertaining style of speech, to be sure. My favorite thing is that his sign-off is "go away now," which I just enjoy. Anyway, top left base gets wiped out. GhostPants manages to get that one, but again, in a straight-up engagement, Firebird is crushing this. Medevac count is not nearly high enough to handle this one. The tank is a little bit scary, but again, there's only one of them. Overseer here to spots, just standing in. The Banelings once again getting trapped. Widow Mines firing on everything, and again, push Firebird. Push. Oh, all right, so Firebird has retaken, well, this base at the 6 o'clock position, 6:30 anyway. And the base just north of that is back on the way here, too. I guess he figures maybe Terran attention's in the top left. I'll expand to the bottom right, which is the right thing to do. But again, I just think Firebird has had the better upgrades. The tank count has been pretty low the entire game. Lingbane Hydra should be able to handle this. And they have. Firebird just hasn't recognized that he's in a good position to push in and actually kill a base. And so he's pulling back. He's playing really, really patiently. He's doing also a very weird strategy of implementing a couple Broodlords into this. Not even like a lot of Broodlords. It's 4. Usually you want to have at least 5. Broodlords are expensive, but they don't really work in groups of anything other than, 5 or 6 or ideally 12. I like to have 12. Oh, he's going to make a hatch down here, but a Widow Mine blocked him. That's amazing. And the army's down here again, and the Broodlords are slow. So once again, hatch dies. There's really nothing that Firebird can do about it if he wants his Broodlords to be involved, and he does. He wants them to be involved, although they are way back here, so maybe not. GhostPants pretty happy about canceling that base. Doesn't actually bother to push in anywhere else. I kind of feel like he would be able to if he wanted, but bottom right-hand corner for Firebird is looking pretty good. He's taking another base there. Should expand up here too, but he just spent a ton of money on 54 Zerglings. 54 Lings. These are 3/3 Lings with Adrenal. Dude, you can't. This is Baneling situation time. That's too much bio. You gotta see now. Here's the thing. Why is Cyril so good at StarCraft? What does he do? Well, a million things. But one of the things he does is his ability to look at a situation and identify whether he can win it or not in half a second, snap of a finger, and then move back to doing something else is incredible. You watch first-person view of him when he's playing. He comes into a situation, he assesses what he's dealing with versus what his army is, and if he's not going to win it convincingly, he pulls back. That's it. He pulls back. If he's going to win it convincingly, he goes for it. But if he's not going to win it convincingly, he pulls back. Instantly, just gets out of there. Zerg armies are fast. They don't have to engage unless they're defending. And in these situations where you're out on the map roaming with the creep, you don't have to engage. Firebird knows that. Firebird is trying to follow this arrow principle of not engaging when you don't feel like you have an overwhelming advantage. The problem is he's not adequately recognizing when he has an overwhelming advantage. So here we go. Broodlings firing on down. Banelings off creep, chasing. Nicely done, pulling those back. I would have gone for that. Firebird intelligently made the decision not to round this corner into tank fire and liberators. I like it. I like what he did right there. So I've been killing him for not being aggressive, but sometimes you got to know when not to be aggressive here. Hatch is already down. All right, well, Widow Mine's getting some serious hits off here. Army supply 128 to 90 in favor of GhostPants right now. Broodlords taking some shots from these Vikings. Vikings going after the Overseers a little bit instead of the Broodlords, which are the major concern right now. Going after some of the Corruptors seems fine. Banelings are gone. Broodlings rather are raining down destruction upon these tanks. Again, the tank count has never been super high for GhostPants, and part of that is Firebird has killed 11 of them. So he's doing his part to make sure that tank count sounds low. He did take the top left base, very happy about that one, and is expanding to the 530 or so position. I'm trying to look at it like a 528 position there. More Banelings on the way. This is close. I kind of feel like GhostPants was in a terrible spot a couple minutes ago, but he's managed to come back in. His army supply is healthy and big. He's got Liberators. He's pretty happy to lean on at this stage of the game. And really for somebody, I mean, I guess I was going to say, for somebody who executes early game cheese, his late game is not bad. His early game cheese was not that good. So, I don't know. Maybe he is usually a late gamer, and sometimes he goes for the early bunker rushes to keep Zerg on their toes. But Marines heading up this left side where there is no army to defend. Bunch. This is too much. This is too much to defend against this little incursion. That's another thing. See what the response needs to be and send what the response needs to be. These Lings can handle it. Look. Adrenal Gland Lings. No medevac support. Meanwhile, Lings got in the main somehow, some way, sneaking on in. But look, everybody came out the wrong way. And now Firebird's in the middle of the map where he's not set up, where he's not comfortable. He's trying to get some Baneling hits off. Trying to get those broodlings down as well. Lings, oh, they had it! Did they get F2'd back? I think the Lings got F2'd or controlled back here in some kind of a control group. Is he sending them back now? I think A moving them right here would be pretty good, but regular moving not as good. There you go. Cracklings, man. Cracklings are no joke. Liberator count also no joke here. But man, these Hydras are tearing through those air units. 3-3 Hydras are no joke versus Liberators. Same with Stalkers. I know everybody's afraid of Liberators, Protoss and Zerg alike, but Hydra Stalker, man, is not a bad answer, especially if you have really good upgrades. I mean, Zerg has it a little bit easier because they can Baneling away the bio that's protecting the Liberators. And I guess you have the same thing for Zealots with Protoss, but it's not quite the same oomph. Not quite the same oomph, you know? So Firebird's at 200 supply. Always nice to be at 200 supply, just banking up resources for when you need to remax another army. His gas count is not super high, and his mineral bank is as low as I've seen it for a while. So he's been spending his money pretty effectively. He's been getting upgrades, too. I mean, look at this. 333. Air armor would be a pretty good upgrade to get here. Lings going after a completely defunct base. The only thing worth killing here, I guess the orbital command is a good target just so no more mules, but the sensor tower would have been a good one too. It doesn't actually end up hitting that. GhostPants just continues to expand. As every base on this map has been taken. Always very fun to see. The next fun thing to see is when there is every base on the map that's been mined out. Yeah, I don't know. Firebird has a lot of air units and really not much stuff on the ground. Yeah, I mean, just Hydroling Bane. Keep it up, man. Hydras, Lings, Banelings. More Banelings, I think. Your Hydras seem to do pretty well, but you always seem to run out of Banelings in these engagements. Bottom right-hand base just got annihilated by Liberators. There are a few of them here, 7 to be exact. And now that they're on siege, let's go. Let's wipe out that ground army with the Banelings and the Lings. Let's get it. Hydra's trying to deal with the Vikings, so they're not dealing with the Liberators. That's a problem. Ignore the Vikings. I guess if you're protecting the Broodlords, sure, go for the Vikings. But in that situation, the Broodlords were not there yet, so there's really nothing to protect. Should have focused target fire down the Liberators and called it a day. Yeah, Don said this was definitely the most entertaining of the games that he screened for these last couple weeks. So I'll take his word on that. And so far, it has been really good. These Banelings are not enough, especially with the tank there, and nothing dies. That hurts. That's just... That is so many dead Banelings for nothing, effectively. Sure, the Terran player had to repair up that tank, but... Nah. Okay, so this base is the one to be fought over at this stage. This Widowmine is blocking the attempt to retake the hatchery. Loving that. Top left is in a bit of trouble here. The ground army is not that big for GhostPants, but again, the Liberators covering these ramps and these backsides are kind of incredible right now. Lings rolling in here. Hydra's rolling in here too. Liberators getting focused down to some extent. Banelings moving up a ramp into Marauders. Banelings coming on in. A lot of them dying to the Liberators, but enough of the Hydras survive to wipe out the rest of the army, including the Liberators. How many Liberators have died in this game? Do you want to make a guess with me? I'm going to guess the number of Liberators dead in this game is like 23. Ready, go. Liberators down. 37! Wow, that was more than I anticipated. 37 Liberators have been killed so far. 68,000 losses for Firebird. 60,000 losses for GhostPants. When you start getting up into the 60, 70, and 80,000 losses, it's a rough show. It's a really rough show for both of these players. They are fighting as hard as they can. It's as stressful as all get out. You'll notice there really haven't been any new creep tumors for the last 15 minutes or so because there's been so much other stuff going on. APM for these players, 278 average on the game for Firebird and 188 for GhostPants. Surprisingly high APM from GhostPants, I gotta say. Not expecting a high APM from him. GhostPants is gonna fight for this bottom right-hand base and hold on to it. Again, 0 Terran bases have been killed today. Keep that in mind, but these Cracklings doing more work than they should be able to. Ground army pretty softened up. Hydra's dealing with the Liberators as they've done the entire game, and once again, running away from a meager Terran army. I think he could have took it. I just think he could have had it. Laddie, he actually starts to... Oh, he's floating over an orbital command. I guess this is the planetary, it would help you. Army supply 113 to 54, though. GhostPants, he is starving for minerals. He's mined out there. He's mined out there. He's mined out here. He's just about mined out here. He needs this base yesterday. He doesn't have the resources to build a command center on site. Here comes Firebird, Ling, Hydra, Brood Lord. Widowmines are firing. Overseer's in observation mode. In Overseer mode. What do they call that? Names are always different for the different detectors. For the Observer and the Overseer anyway. He's going to land that base, but there's a lot of Zerg on the ground right now. And that base is toast. It's gone. It's going to try to run, but 3-3 Hydra anti-air is no joke. And Broodlords raining down. Only one Viking remains to try to deal with these Broodlords. It's gone. One Liberator. Army supply for GhostPants plummeting, and suddenly GhostPants went from a pretty good position to basically dead. And what feels like just a couple seconds here. Really not that long, but his income was not all that good. He didn't have much of a bank. He's really only able to make a few Marines at a time right now. Planetary Fortress fighting for its life. Last remaining source of income right now for GhostPants, and that's your good game. Firebird is your winner in 35 minutes and 38 seconds. That was a match. Dude, I'm sure Firebird was incredibly exhausted after that match. How many hatcheries died? 8 hatcheries got killed. Usually, in a game, if there are 8 hatcheries killed and only 2 orbital commands go down, one of those, like in the final couple minutes, it's usually a win for the Terran, but I gotta say, the couple things that cost GhostPants this game are going to be a lack of medevacs. He only made 12 the entire game, which medevacs with Marines and Marauders with 3-3 are just golden. More tanks would be good tier 2. I honestly don't like the number of Liberators that he made. Once 3-3 Hydras were out, they weren't going to do... The Liberators were not going to do as well, right? They just weren't going to do as well. So just a Marine Marauder medevac play split against the Banelings, you can handle the rest of it at that point. I'm sure Firebird would have adjusted too. It's not like you easily make this tech switch and win the game, right? It's not generally how that works, but... Yeah, man. 488 Lings down, 296 Marines, 40 Liberators even. There was a Thor here? I didn't know there was a Thor. 58 Widowmines is a lot of Widowmines to go down. And there were none left at the end of the game, too. The 9 Infestors I liked. Firebird kind of gave up on casters through that game. I would have liked to see continued caster play. I guess he does have some Vipers later on for some Abduct, but really gave up on Infestors after that first group didn't really do a whole lot. So I think keep going with the Infestor group. They are really good, really good at throwing down fungals and making sure that Bio can't split as fast as they normally can. Banelings can connect better. Also keep that creep spread going. Pro tip there, keep the creep spread moving. I don't think any creep tumors were made over the last, I gotta say, 15 minutes of the game. Maybe even longer. If I was paying attention closely enough, and I'm not sure that I was. So yeah, GhostPants doing some unorthodox stuff. Firebird countering it pretty well. I know I said more than once Firebird should have pushed in situations where he did not. But hey, he was patient, and he won the game, and that's what matters. So GG to him, and that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your mid-rank madness. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.